welcome to Charts and Hearts. I'm Sarah, and she's Lindsay.
And together we're working our way through an epic list of rom-coms in order to find and categorize tropes in the hopes of creating the nerdiest spreadsheet podcasts I've ever seen.
And today we are in probably our last Colin Firth month, I would assume, but we can always dream.
Yep.
We're doing the 1997 British Fever Pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. I surprisingly really liked this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just the Colin Firth of it, but I don't know, I just enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I think the problems were the same problems that I had with the other Fever Pitch, so I was just trying to figure out my problems, which is most of it.
Yeah, it still has the same issues, but I enjoyed this one a lot more.
Yeah. Colin Firth is better than Jimmy Fallon at acting. Shocking.
Yeah, Colin Firth is a very good actor. It was also just more chill.
Yeah, it was very chill because it was a British movie.
Because it's just very British and it's not so over the top and ridiculous. It's also just a smaller budget.
Yeah, it was
chill,
a small movie. Yeah,
small. It was just a smaller movie because it's a small story about two people that meet at work and get their shit together. That in the grand scheme of things, that's all it is.
Yeah,
and so there's no extremes of there's just it's more chill. I don't know. So I really liked it. Yeah. So it's kind of almost the same plotline as the Jimmy Fallon, Drew Barrymore Fever Pitch.
Yeah, I think there's very few changes. She's not a teacher in Drew Barrymore, and she doesn't get pregnant, but they have a weird pregnancy storyline, which now makes more sense.
Yeah.
A lot of things, a lot of choices that I was questioned in the 2005 one, 2003, whatever, one now makes sense, having seen the original.
Yeah, why is there a random pregnancy scare? Yeah, because that's kind of the whole premise of this movie, which I didn't hate as much as I thought I was going to.
No, it goes,
don't love it, but...
as a surprise pregnancy, I didn't hate it, because it wasn't that normal trope.
Yeah.
But also, it fed into my annoyance and perturbance about them as a couple in general. Yeah. But I liked the place they got to by the end. Yeah. Which I didn't in the original. No, they didn't really solve the problem in the American one.
Yeah. It's also okay, so this movie came out in 1997 but takes place in 1988, 89, I think. Yeah. So that's when the book took place. I would assume so, yeah.
We looked it up last time because I know that the book was about them winning for the first time in 17 years.
Yeah.
And that was his life. So I wanted to look up, to see if the pregnancy was real, because I'm like, it has to be, right? Why is this
I don't know.
a thing?
I don't know. Yeah. But I loved that. Also, it was an 80s movie, and it was, partially based on real things that were happening at that point, but the soundtrack is so... It's not, super tied to the time period. There's music all the way through from, the 70s to the 90s.
Which all over the place. The clothes were not outrageous, because it was, working class Britain in the 80s. So it wasn't,
exactly.
I don't know.
It was,
insanity.
It was just normal clothes. I mean, his oversized jackets and button-ups were kind of ridiculous, but in a very delightful way.
Yeah, and his flashback clothes when he was an angsty teen in the 70s, those clothes were amazing. Yeah. In the terrible way.
The, denim button-up jacket that he wears with the scarf underneath it, with, the lapels that are, I don't know, the size of my face. Yeah. They're huge.
His bell-bottoms, oh man, it was amazing.
It was good. Yeah, so... I don't know, should we just keep going on observations? I don't think we really need to do a plot summary, but...
Yeah, no, the plot summary is the same. Just go listen to our other episode.
Yeah, except it's Arsenal and nobody sits down at football games, apparently.
Apparently. That was weird. And I need a football person to explain that to me. Yeah. Maybe it's just the cheap, that's what I was guessing.
I think it's the cheap seats don't have seats. And
but also... you can still get season tickets for them, I guess?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think it's also just the... everybody's going to be standing anyways, so
so it might as well
having seats.
Yeah, but I really felt heard at that
moment.
Well, I would have been nope, I would have left.
In the sort of peak of football hooliganism.
Yeah, right.
British fans or English fans, I'm not sure if it was UK or England, but were banned from European Cup things until the 90s because there was such a big riot at some football match in the UK, and like people were killed, and they would be like all these like people would go in like disguise as the opposite, like the opposing team, or like in no team colors, and then just like run on the field and beat people up, and like so that's why even today like there are lots of laws in England about alcohol and watching football.
Yeah, you can't like go to a pub or something, like, or the pub can't
like
serve.
Pubs can't. I don't know exactly how it is, but like if there's a pub at the stadium, you can't be able to see the game from the pub. And there's rules about like pubs like serving alcohol and showing the football match at the same time.
Yeah. Which like I guess there is a scene where they are outside at a pub, like a beer garden, drinking a beer, and like I think the game had just ended, and or was in match, so that makes sense thinking about it now. Like they had to go outside if the game was on.
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe I don't know.
It's
I don't know, but it also speaks to the point. One of the points she has is there is an incident in the movie at Liverpool at another game where people get hurt.
Yeah, like it was more and more and more common, and there was lots of like racial tones to it as well, like, you know, beating up players on opposing teams that were black and things like that. So yeah, it was not good, and I think it's gotten better, but I think it's still like
well bad. I know it's a thing that they post about a lot, about how badly the stats are for abuse when big sports games are on. So so crazy. Okay, well, so that it's like based on that kind of real events, and like that's a like part of why she's like so she's more concerned than just like he's really into sport. Which is also a difference from the American version. The other thing that's
like judgy.
The other thing that's weird is that people who are not pro football in this movie are so judgy about it. Like it's the worst thing that people could be into. It's really strange.
I think there's a lot of like classism.
I think that must be what it is. They're just like her roommate and I think some other
but then everybody
teachers
gets like so into it.
And
some
then
of the other teachers.
They're just like so against it, or maybe it was parents. I can't remember, but they're just like so judgy.
Like when she's at the like school party. And people are so judgy about it. Like, no, like I'm at this party because I don't support football. So it's very, and I think it's also that like identity. Like you're either a football fan or you're like actively not a football fan. There's not a lot of
in between this.
Okay, so obviously Colin Firth is in this movie. The lead actress is the mom from Bridgerton, and she's so good in this movie. Ruth Gemmell, she plays Sarah, and then there's few other people. Mark Strong, obviously.
I had to look up his name because I literally just wrote, I'm like, oh, it's what's his face. It's the guy who is not the guy from Law and Order.
But looks just like him. Him. He like often plays like Colin Firth's friend in movies. I don't know.
He's around all the time.
And then you found a fun one too.
And then his mom, I was just like, who is this person? And then I went and looked it up, and it's Varley, also from Bridgerton, and it's made me so happy because it was so random. So good. It was so random. I'm like, I've never seen her in anything else. Of course, she's a British actress who does British acting,
30-ish years ago.
But the fact that they were both in it, and it was fun.
Pretty fun. But I don't think, they wouldn't have had any scenes together because she was just in the flashbacks, and then like the scene by herself on the couch with the cat or dog watching the game.
Cats with their Arsenal scarves on. It was adorable.
So cute. Okay, so it does still have like the forced pregnancy storyline, which like we've talked about, but I think because it's not as dramatic, and also
it's I think a lot of it is that Colin Firth is a better actor, so his side is better argued. And I think like I'm definitely have, and again maybe this is the Jimmy Fallon of it all. On the other side of this is that I'm more frustrated with Ruth than I was with Drew Barrymore, I think, for being frustrated that she's dating a man-child.
Like that she let it get so far.
Like I think, and maybe that's where the pregnancy part really got to me, was like, why are you, after 6 months of dating this man-child who, and like, it's not a secret, it's unlike the other one, where they started in the off-season.
It also wasn't a secret.
It's been there the entire time. his fandom. Like, you already went to a game, like, you've done all of this stuff, and then you are pregnant, and then you're like, nope, I'm in. Let's do it, even though I'm very frustrated with this man at this very moment. And, like, his reaction to the pregnancy was also, like, so bonkers that I was just like, why are you not walking away? It just, it bothered me, that part, I think.
His character goes through, like, more extremes. Like, I feel like he becomes even more, like, patronizing and protective, and, like, tells their boss that she's pregnant.
Yeah,
and,
that was...
like, I was so mad.
Yeah.
And then, like, he's, like, elbowing her, like, he's both more of a man-child in the ways that actually matter, and less in the, like, he has lots of, like, Arsenal stuff, but it's not, like, ridiculous, and, like...
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to the matches, but he doesn't... I don't know, it's just, like, it feels more natural, and that's partly the writing, I think, and partly the acting.
Yeah.
But then, and we'll get to the end, too, because I think the end is also more extreme and more natural.
Yeah, and so I think, and then what you said there, it was like, he's more of a man-child, because when she's pregnant, he gives up smoking and drinking, but is still a problem, because he's not solving the real problems, because he's a man-child and doesn't know how to solve real problems.
Yeah, like, it's like an actual character flaw, not a caricature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
really, like, I'm more frustrated with them, but, like, in a good way, because it's a better argument, and they're better characters and better actors.
Yeah. And she's mad at him for more, like, real things.
More real reasons, and not just baseball.
Not just that, that he just likes baseball. Like, it's...
Yeah, they're real reasons. And that's probably why the pregnancy didn't bother me, because they were real reasons, as opposed to just the weird random mention of it, throwaway scene of it in the other movie.
Having the pregnancy actually be a thing that happens, rather than just, like, like, checking off the box of obstacles to this relationship. Yeah. And then, so, like, by the end, I think partly it's the acting, partly it's the narration or the voiceover, but his explanation of why he still loves football, but it's not his everything. And, like, I mean, and who knows if, like, would he have come to that even if they hadn't won? I hope so, but it kind of doesn't really matter, because he decided to be done.
Yeah.
Right? And I think, so, like, he still loves football, but it's not the only thing he has in his life, because he managed to finally realize that he has other things that he could be excited about.
Yeah.
And be invested in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I liked her, like, going to the stadium rather than, like, running across the field, again, with the realism.
Yeah. And I liked her arc of, like, the way that information about players and stuff just, like, seeped into her life.
Yeah.
But then she found herself caring. Like, when she was at that party, she's like, I'm not going to watch the game. I'm not going. And then she's kind of like, oh, does anybody know? You know, like, it's a very realistic way of, like, showing how much, like, she's accepted this part of him, and, like, it's gotten into her. And, like, a lot of what he's been arguing this the whole time is that it's a part of his life, and that he wants to support this team. And then she actually starts to care by herself without anybody pushing her on it, which I like. Yeah, like, she realizes that she does actually enjoy it, and it's, you know, like, wouldn't actually be a bad way to spend time with the person that she loves. Like, yeah. And also, I love the taxi driver. He's so cute, because he was like, don't tell me anything, and then he was so grateful that he got to be there, like, in the mess with it. Of the thing. Yeah, the mess when they all won, I was like, I had a lot of emotions. Also, because we didn't get that in the last movie, because of the way that the American movie went with real life.
Yes.
So we don't get that amazing part, which is...
like, that was the best part of the movie. Yeah, so, it's kind of a shame that...
that it didn't work, but also, how it was going to end?
Yeah, how was it going to end?
I think probably that it was just, like, when she runs across the field and then they get together. I think that was probably it. And then they added the epilogue on because they had to, because it was really important.
Yeah, otherwise it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any other observations?
I don't think so, except that they did obey the law, which is if you make a movie in the 90s, you play There She Goes.
Yeah.
While a woman is walking, because that's the rules.
That was
laid down by the Cardigans, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. They're like their agent.
Yeah.
Okay, tropes.
Okay.
Obviously, man-child, because that's the whole point.
That's the whole point. But also, she's stuck up. And like, but like, is she though? Because she just like, she plans her lessons. Oh no, like.
Yeah, like she shows up
prepared
to work
teacher.
prepared.
And not like he is a prepared, like he actually is a good teacher and everybody
Yeah.
likes him, and like they offer him the promotion. It's not a promotion storyline trope or anything.
No.
But so mainly her stuck-upness is used to showcase how different they are, but all she's really doing is just lesson planning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a like glue stick poster situation at some point, but
Yeah.
Okay, so it is kind of enemies to lovers, but they like fall into bed pretty quick.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. And
Yeah,
she just like
within a week.
just is like, you can't smoke in my house, but do you want to stay the night? And I'm like, wow, that is ballsy.
It was, and it was very like, just like very casual, like really until
pregnancy,
until she got pregnant.
Yeah.
It was just like they were hooking up; they weren't dating or anything.
Yeah. So they do both have good best friends. So as we said, Mark Strong is there, and he's really great. The female one is not my favorite, which we'll get to in a little bit, but she is good-ish, and I like that she also secretly likes football at the end.
Yeah, or like it like snuck into her.
It snuck into her life.
Too. Yeah, which I liked. There's a voiceover in this, and that's really where like a lot of the character, like the inner character development is, which is kind of lazy, but it was done really well, so it didn't feel.
Yeah, because like I don't know how else they would have done it, because it was his inner monologue that had to be like, you had to go through it, because like he tried to have these conversations with Mark Strong, and Mark Strong was like, I don't know what your problem is, because he had a more healthy relationship, kind of like
and you needed to sort of see how things went when he was a child, and also see and like hear how that has affected him now, like not just seeing that was the only thing he had with his dad, and then his dad, like, you know, once his dad like could do other things with him, wasn't actually into it, but his dad, like, I don't know, it was like that holding on to the image of his dad, not the reality of his dad. Yeah. So then there's flashbacks, which are very funny and very 70s.
Yep.
Or like early 80s maybe.
No, it's 70s.
No, 70s. Yeah.
When
it was 88.
Yeah, it was very divorced parents 70s. Like, yeah. Oof. And then montages. This is what happened. I paused the movie to go to the bathroom, and I heard the first two notes of Baba O'Reilly, and I was like, there's going to be a montage. Because, once again, another law laid down by The Who is you have to. If you're going to use this song in your movie, it has to be in a montage. There's no other way to do it.
Pretty much. And it was so good.
It was really good. I think that was the one where they like interspersed him when he's a kid and an adult at the games, and it was like really well done, and cool.
I liked it a lot.
I also like, they didn't show the football hardly at all except at the end. So I assume because of the budget, and they only could get the footage.
They only got like so many clips
of the final game, which was more important. But also it worked. I liked it. So
yeah, no, it was fine. Like you watched the people watching football rather than watching the actual football, which like is my preferred way to watch sports.
Yes, I know. Me too.
Okay, Lindsay, does this movie pass the Bechdel test?
Yes, because she has a best friend, and they do talk at times about other things. Her best friend
football
does not give her great advice. And I think this goes back to the football snobbery classisms, because she's basically like, they take over, like they do. She does go on a feminist rant about how they take over and patriarchy and blah blah blah, which is fine. But the fact that it was football, like it was a weird entryway for her to be like, he's going to take over your life and you're going to learn all of these sports things, and I'm like, it's just football.
Yeah,
she's not,
exactly.
Like I don't even know. Like, so it was a little bit.
Matter?
And also, she was basically telling her best friend to not enjoy any of his interests. I'm like, well, that is bad relationship advice.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a little bit weird, but she was good at all the other parts. Yeah. But she was the only other woman in the movie.
Pretty much. I guess there was the mom.
Yeah. It was a small cast.
And the sister.
Yeah.
It was a really small cast for the, like, speaking things. Like, yeah. Okay, should we make a pie?
Sure.
Arsenal.
High.
Yeah. Like
50.
50?
Yep. Because it's really, the amount of times they say the word Arsenal in those movies.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Red and white clothing.
Yeah, I really liked the dress at the end. It was a very subtle nod.
Well, because it fit in so well at the school party, but then she got to the celebration, you're like, oh, it was intentional. It didn't even clue into it until she got to the stadium.
Yeah.
Maybe like 30?
Yep.
Okay.
Which leaves 20.
Yeah.
20 for hooligans.
Hooligans.
Which there are a lot of.
There are a lot, but it wasn't like... I thought it was going to end up being more of the plot of the movie, but it was really just like, oh, look at those football thing. Like, oh, look at those crazy football fans. And then it was like, oh, no, look at those like dangerous and violent football fans. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's not a thing that a grown-up person should be involved with.
Yeah, And like her argument of that and him being like, no, I'm going to keep going. It won't ever happen again. And I'm just like, But anyway.
Yeah. All right. That's like very football heavy pie.
Yes.
Lindsay, what do we think is next for them?
I don't know. Like, this is the problem with the pregnancy. Also, we didn't put falling in love quickly in the tropes.
Yeah.
Because this is, again, it's like, it's the span of a football season. So that is always a red flag for me. Pun intended. Red card. There we go.
Yeah.
But, like, they have a baby after they've been together for 6 months, so I guess, whatever, a year-ish, once the baby is born. And I'm just like, I never feel great about that situation. And I don't know if they solved their real problem. Like, that's the problem with how the movie ends, is like, everybody's happy because they won, and she likes football now, and he likes football less now, but I'm like...
Yeah. I feel like they're in a good place to solve their problem.
Yes, I hope so.
Not that they have solved their problems.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. And Lindsay, what's next for us?
Well, I was going to say more Colin Firth being British, but that's always really no what I was thinking.
Yeah.
We are doing What a Girl Wants. And so...
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I haven't watched it.
I'm pretty sure it's dumb, but
it is really dumb. But Colin Firth is attractive and it's silly, which is my favorite kind of Colin Firth.
Yeah.
So
amazing. Okay. Well, that brings us to the end of our episode. If you would like to leave us a rating or a review, you can do so on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever. You can also find us on social media. We're at Charts and Hearts Podcast on Instagram and Threads.
And you can head to our website, chartsandhearts.com, where you can submit your suggestions for rom-coms and tropes for us to add to the list. This was a suggestion from friend of the pod, Matthew, who, when we said we were doing America Fever Pitch, got very indignant that we were not doing this one.
Yeah, when we said we were doing Fever Pitch, I honestly didn't even know there was
me either.
One, so,
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Indeed.
And so if you have suggestions, again, we have run out of Colin Firth movies, which is a tragedy.
Tragedy.
So if you know of any secret Colin Firth rom-coms that are not Bridget Jones's Diaries 2 to 3-7,
I couldn't tell you.
Please let us know.
Indeed.
Oh, and you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Charts and Hearts Club. This month, for Colin Firth month, we're doing Hope Springs. I think. We'll find out.
The one we can't remember.
The one with Colin Firth in it.
Indeed. Yeah. Let us know your thoughts on this movie. And in the meantime, well, maybe there's a big bit of you that's gone missing somewhere. Maybe everyone should want something they've always wanted. That's when I was like, oh, football hooligans have love.
Football is life.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Okay, bye.
Bye.